Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me ask you something. How do you climb a mountain? One step at a time. But see, here's the thing. Most of us stand at the bottom, staring up, paralyzed by the height. We want to be at the top, but we don't even lace up our boots to take the first step. The truth is, the life you want, your dream, your vision, your purpose, it's not built in one grand moment. No, it's built brick by brick, day by day, step by step. Small steps, my friends, lead to big changes. Now, I know what you're thinking, but these steps seem so insignificant. How could they ever make a difference? Let me tell you, greatness is never in the size of the step, it's in the consistency of taking it. Success doesn't come to those who wait for the perfect conditions. Success comes to those who show up even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable, even when nobody's watching. When are things ever going to get better because it's hard, or better because it's uncomfortable, even when nobody's watching? You've got to trust the process. You've got to believe that every small action you take is planting a seed. Maybe you won't see the fruit tomorrow, or next week, or even next month. But if you keep watering it, if you keep taking those steps, you will see a harvest. Now, let me tell you something else. Fear will try to stop you. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear that you're not good enough. But listen closely. Failure is not the opposite of progress. It's part of it. Every stumble, every fall, every misstep teaches you something you couldn't have learned standing still. And don't you dare lose sight of your vision. You see, that vision you have, the life you want, it's not there to taunt you, it's there to guide you. Keep it in front of you like a light in the darkness. Let it pull you forward, step by step. But here's the part nobody likes to hear. It takes time. Oh yes, it takes patience. Real change, meaningful change, doesn't happen overnight. But when you look back, when you see how far those little steps have taken you, you'll know it was worth every moment. And don't forget to celebrate the progress, not just the destination. Every time you take a step, that's a victory. Every time you choose to move forward, you're proving to yourself that you're capable. So lace up your boots, start small, stay consistent, and trust me when I say this, the mountain may be tall, but you are built to climb it. Small steps, big changes. That's how you build the life you want. The idea of starting small is often underestimated. Too many of us get caught up in the misconception that we need to make a giant leap to see meaningful progress. We think that success comes from dramatic actions, from monumental moments where everything changes all at once. But the truth is, it doesn't work that way. The most extraordinary achievements, the most impactful changes, begin with something simple, something small. Think about a seed. It's tiny, almost insignificant, but when planted in the soil, nurtured with water, and given the light it needs, it grows into something far greater than its original form. The same is true for your goals, your dreams, and your life. Every small step you take is like planting that seed. It may not look like much in the beginning. It might feel like you're moving too slowly, or that the effort isn't paying off, but what you're really doing is laying the foundation for something far bigger. Starting small doesn't mean you're thinking small. It means you understand the value of building things the right way, step by step, so that when success comes, it has deep, unshakable roots. You're not rushing to the finish line. You're building a path that will get you there. You see, starting small isn't just about the action itself, it's about momentum. That first step might be tiny, but it sets something powerful in motion. It shows you what's possible. It gives you the confidence to take the next step, and the next, and the next after that. Over time, those small steps compound. They add up to something greater than you could have imagined when you first began. And you are 100% ready to take on all the good and take it alone. And here's the beauty of it. Small steps are manageable. They don't overwhelm you. They don't require you to have everything figured out. All they ask is for you to take one action, one moment at a time. That's it. So don't wait for the perfect conditions or the perfect plan. Start where you are with what you have. Take the small step, no matter how insignificant it may seem. Because when you do, you're not just moving forward, you're proving to yourself that you can. And that, my friends, is how big changes begin. Consistency is the quiet force behind every great achievement. It's not flashy, it doesn't make headlines, and it rarely gets the credit it deserves, but it is the foundation for all success. Too often, people aim for perfection, believing that they need everything to be flawless before they begin. They want the perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect execution, and in chasing that illusion of perfection, they hesitate, they stall, and more often than not, they fail to act at all. But here's the truth. Perfection isn't the goal, it never has been. Progress is the goal. And progress doesn't come from doing something perfectly one time. It comes from showing up over and over, even when it's messy, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. That's consistency. The magic of consistency lies in its ability to create habits. When you show up day after day, those small actions begin to feel natural, automatic. You don't have to convince yourself to do the work. It becomes a part of who you are. And as those habits take root, the results begin to build. What once felt impossible starts to feel inevitable. Consistency doesn't demand perfection. It allows for mistakes, for bad days, for moments when things don't go as planned. Because what matters isn't that every step is perfect. What matters is that you keep taking steps. Imagine someone learning to play the piano. They won't master it in a single day or even a month, but if they practice a little every day, if they press those keys over and over, they'll improve. The same applies to every aspect of life. Consistency also teaches resilience. It builds discipline and reminds you that results don't happen overnight. Some days will feel harder than others. Some days you'll feel like giving up. But if you keep going, if you keep showing up, you'll realize that it's not about being perfect every time. It's about proving to yourself that you can stay the course no matter what. So, let go of perfection. It's not real and it's not necessary. Focus instead on consistency. Show up, do the work, and trust that those small, repeated efforts will lead you to the life you're working toward. Faith in the process is what keeps you moving forward when the results aren't visible yet. It's about believing that the small, intentional actions you take every day are leading you towards something greater, even if you can't see it right now. Too often, we're tempted to give up because we expect instant results. We want the outcome now, the success now, the transformation now. But the truth is, growth doesn't happen overnight. The most meaningful changes require patience, persistence, and most importantly, trust. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up the next day to see if it's growing. You water it, give it sunlight, and trust that beneath the surface something is happening. The same applies to the process of building your life. Just because you don't see immediate progress doesn't mean nothing is happening. Every small effort, every step forward is creating momentum. You have to trust that what you're doing today will lead to the results you want tomorrow. And just give it a little time to see if it's working. Faith in the process also means embracing uncertainty. There will be times when you question whether you're on the right path. There will be moments when the work feels tedious, when the effort feels unrewarded, and when doubt creeps in. That's normal. But faith reminds you to keep going even when the evidence isn't there yet. It's about having the courage to stay committed to your vision, knowing that the steps you're taking, no matter how small, are necessary. The process will test you, it will challenge your patience, your discipline, and your resolve. But it's in those moments of uncertainty that growth happens. The process isn't just about the result. It's about who you become along the way. It's about developing the resilience, the work ethic, and the mindset that will sustain you long after you reach your goal. Faith in the process also teaches you to appreciate the journey. You start to realize that every challenge, every setback, every small victory is shaping you. You're not just building a result, you're building character. So trust it. Trust the small steps, the daily grind, the quiet progress that doesn't always get noticed. Because one day, when you look back, you'll see that every moment mattered. The process was never a delay. It was preparation for the greatness that was waiting for you. Fear of failure is one of the greatest barriers to progress. It whispers in your ear, telling you not to try because you might fall short, because you might embarrass yourself, or because you might not be good enough. But the truth is, failure isn't something to be afraid of. It's something to embrace, to learn from, and to use as fuel for growth. Every successful person you admire has failed. Not once, but many times. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a necessary part of the journey toward it. The real danger isn't in failing. It's in letting the fear of failure stop you from trying. When you let that fear control you, you stay stuck. You never take the risks that could lead to growth. You never step outside your comfort zone where all the potential for greatness exists. Fear convinces you that it's safer to do nothing, but in reality, doing nothing is the only guaranteed way to fail. When you understand that failure is a teacher, not an enemy, your perspective changes. Failure gives you feedback. It shows you what didn't work and gives you the opportunity to adjust, to improve, and to try again. Every time you fail, you're gaining valuable experience. You're learning resilience, patience, and problem solving. These are the qualities that success is built on, and you can't develop them if you're too afraid to fail. Failure also strips away the illusion of perfection. It reminds you that no one gets it right the first time, and that's okay. The people who achieve great things aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who refuse to give up after they do. They see failure as a stepping stone, not a stopping point. It's also important to remember that most of the fear around failure comes from how we perceive it. We worry about what others will think or how we'll measure up. But the truth is, most people aren't focused on your failures. They're too busy with their own. And even if someone does judge you, their opinion doesn't define your worth or your potential. So don't let fear of failure hold you back. Take the risk, make the leap. If you fall, get back up. Every failure gets you closer to success as long as you're willing to keep moving forward. Failure isn't the end, it's the beginning of something better. Vision is the driving force behind every meaningful action. It's the big picture, the dream, the purpose, the reason you wake up every day and do the work. Without vision, you're just going through the motions, reacting to whatever comes your way. You might be busy, you might be putting in effort, but without a clear vision guiding you, your actions will lack direction and purpose. A vision gives you a target. It gives you a reason to push through the challenges, to keep going when things get tough. It's the compass that points you toward the future you want to create, and it helps you make decisions when the path isn't clear. When you can see where you're headed, it becomes much easier to take the necessary steps to get there. A clear vision doesn't just inspire action, it organizes it. It turns chaos into focus. It allows you to prioritize what truly matters and let go of distractions. With a strong vision, even the smallest actions feel significant because you know they're part of something bigger. You start to understand that everything you do, every effort you make, is a building block shaping the life you're working toward. Vision also gives you the energy to keep moving even when the journey gets difficult. When setbacks come, as they always do, a powerful vision keeps you grounded in your purpose. It reminds you that the struggle is temporary, but the reward is worth the effort. When you can clearly see what's waiting for you on the other side, it becomes easier to push through the pain and disappointment. One of the most important things about vision is that it gives you the ability to overcome doubt. When you know where you want to go, it doesn't matter how long it takes or how hard the journey is. The vision becomes bigger than your fear, bigger than your insecurities. It propels you forward. even when the odds are stacked against you. Without vision, action becomes aimless. It's just movement without meaning. But when you have a clear, powerful vision, your actions become intentional and focused. They take you closer to the person you want to become and the life you want to live. So take the time to define your vision and let it drive everything you do. Patience is often the most overlooked virtue in the pursuit of success. In a world where instant gratification is the norm, where we want everything now, success, wealth, recognition, achievement, it's easy to forget that meaningful, lasting change takes time. Patience is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's the quiet power that keeps you grounded when the results aren't coming as quickly as you'd like, when the road feels long and uncertain. When you start a new journey, whether it's personal growth, a business venture, or a new skill, you're not going to see immediate results. That's just how it is. Growth is gradual. Progress happens in increments, and most of the time it's barely noticeable. But that doesn't mean it's not happening. Patience teaches you to trust the process, to believe that the effort you're putting in today will eventually bear fruit, even if you don't see it right now. Patience is the ability to keep going when it feels like nothing is happening. It's staying committed to your goals despite the setbacks, the slow progress, the days when you question whether you're on the right path. It's understanding that great things take time to build. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is the life you want. Patience gives you the strength to endure the waiting period. It tells you that even though it may take years to reach your destination, every step you take along the way is one step closer. There's also wisdom in patience. It gives you the time to learn, to adjust, and to grow in ways you wouldn't if you were rushing to get to the end. Every failure, every detour, every challenge has something to teach you. And patience allows you the space to learn those lessons without giving up on the bigger picture. Patience doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means taking consistent action, but allowing the results to come when they're ready. It means trusting that the seeds you plant today will grow, even if you can't see the progress right away. So, if you find yourself getting frustrated or discouraged, remember that patience is key. Your time will come. Just keep working, keep learning, and keep believing that all your efforts are leading you towards something great. So often we focus so much on the end goal that we forget to celebrate the small wins along the way. We set our eyes on the big picture, the dream, the destination, and we convince ourselves that once we achieve it, then, and only then, will we be worthy of celebration. But the truth is, the journey is just as important as the destination. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. And if you wait until the end to celebrate, you'll miss the countless moments that deserve recognition. It's easy to overlook the progress we make when we're so fixated on the outcome. We reach a milestone and think, okay, that's done, next. But what if we paused and acknowledged each step we took to get there? What if we took the time to celebrate every bit of effort, every bit of growth, every lesson learned, instead of just focusing on the finish line? Each small win is proof that you're moving in the right direction. Each small step is a reflection of your dedication, your discipline, your commitment to becoming better. Celebrating progress isn't about patting yourself on the back for doing the bare minimum. It's about recognizing the effort it takes to keep moving forward, even when the going gets tough. It's acknowledging the days when you felt like giving up, but pushed through anyway. It's about looking back at how far you've come, not just how far you have left to go. When you celebrate progress, you fuel your motivation. You remind yourself that the work is paying off, that every action, no matter how small, is building towards something greater. Celebrating progress also helps you stay grounded. It keeps you humble and grateful for the journey. It prevents you from falling into the trap of constantly chasing the next goal without appreciating the hard work that got you to where you are now. The process itself is what shapes you, what strengthens you, and if you don't take the time to celebrate your progress, you might miss out on the most meaningful part of the journey, the growth, the lessons, and the person you become along the way. So don't just wait for the outcome. Celebrate every small victory, Every moment of progress is a step towards something greater.